Good morning and welcome. The waiting and anxiety hence, all the months, years, and days of waiting has finally come to an end. The FIFA 2014 World Cup is here. And a game has already been played. You know the results already. And of course, there's much to expect today. My name is Yemi Adebayo. It gives me so much pleasure to welcome you to this Friday morning edition of Sports This Morning on your award-winning channels television. Well, before we go further, let's check out the top stories making the rounds in the world of sports. And of course, it doesn't get bigger than the 2014 FIFA World Cup. It's day 2 of the biggest football showpiece. Football fans are in for a swell time. 3 matches will be played today. Pick of the pack on day 2, Holland taking on Spain. Okay? And, well, Japanese referee Yuichi Nichimura is under scrutiny over making a questionable call during the Brazil-Croatia World Cup game that led to a goal by Brazil. It depends on the side you belong to, but he's under scrutiny, and we will scrutinize that decision on the show this morning. The Indomitable Lions of Cameroon will lead Africa's charge at the World Cup as the 4-time African champions lock horns with Mexico today. They'll be the first African team to play in the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Well, the question on everyone's lips as a countdown to the next Grand Slam. You know, the countdown, the clock is gradually winding down. The question on everyone's lips is world number 1, Rafael Nadal, is he vulnerable on grass? It's a question my partner on the show, Kule Philip, will be willing to answer this morning. So those are the top stories in the world of sports. Well, want you to be a part of everything we're doing. Want to get your opinion, especially about the Japanese referee, the calls he made on the opening day. So get across to us. And of course, you know how. But just in case you're watching for the first time, this is how you could get across to us through these platforms on Facebook, channels, iPhone Sports, Twitter, channels_sports. My personal handle at Yemi Adebayo 20. So you could get your views across to us. Let us know how you feel about the decisions made by the referee on the night, and of course, how those decisions affected the game. We're talking of goal line technology now, but of course, you know that a referee's decisions could possibly change the outcome of a game. Wakule, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Good morning, Yemi. It's always good to be on the show.
How does it feel? The World Cup is here already. It has started.
Absolutely. After so much waiting and preparation and rumors and all and what have you, and the tournament has eventually started. Okay. And we saw an exciting game of football played yesterday. So though,
all right, cool. Let's give you the result in case you don't know. It will be a surprise if you don't already know. But of course, we still have to bring it to you. Brazil taking on Croatia. The scoreline a bit flattering, but there you have it. The host, first victory for the host, 3-1 against Croatia. So that's that. But let's talk about the man in the eye of the storm. And Kule, I want to get your opinion quickly. The Japanese referee, some of the calls. We're going to try to look at some of the calls, how it affected. We've talked on this program about how a referee can change the outcome of the game. One bad
Absolutely.
call, and everything is gone. But look at the key decisions, the third and the second goal, the events leading up to those goals. How do you see them?
I think the first one was that penalty call, which was
tackle on Fred,
and which was very, very questionable. You know, the touch against Fred was very, very minimal, and the referee just pointed to the penalty spot, which for me was a turnaround.
The referee will argue that even minimal contact. I mean, his hands was on the shoulder of Fred.
Yeah,
and
but
it looked soft.
Very, very soft.
But my question to you is, was that enough to give a penalty?
I think it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough at all, because if you are awarding a penalty, there must be a very, very clear-cut contact
But you do
inside
agree
the
that
box.
referees have given penalties for
But
lesser.
this is
World
the
Cup.
World Cup, and this is just the start, the first game, and everybody, all
You
eyes
don't want to
was
see
actually
this.
on the.
Okay, let's move on. The third goal, that I don't know. I think I might have to agree with you. But let me hear your opinion first. The third goal, the Oscar goal. I mean, not taking anything away from Chelsea player, was a good goal. Showed resilience. It kept on going. But I don't know. Some feel it should have been a free kick in favor of Croatia before that.
I think the third goal, I think I will quite agree with what the events actually led to the third goal. It was, for me, it was a clear goal from my own point of view.
Okay.
Where I really have my reservations about the referees' some of the decisions they took, was the second goal, which led to the turnaround of that game, the Fred penalty awarded to Brazil, and which was actually converted. It turned virtually everything around in that game. And some people also talk about the decision to actually award Neymar a yellow card, and when he actually fouled, there was a very obvious touch on one of the Croatian player, and the referee opted to award a yellow card, which for me was also
Questionable.
good. It wasn't questionable. Good. It was good. For the first 70 minutes of the game, the referee was in total control of the game. I think what turned around the whole event on that day was the penalty that was actually awarded, which for me wasn't a well-deserved one.
Okay, that's Kunle for you. Penalty wasn't well deserved. The third goal, it's a good goal, but it feels the second goal probably the reason for the third. But let's move on. Let's talk about today's matches at the FIFA 2014 World Cup. We're going to have 3 matches to be played, and of course, Mexico will take on Africa's representative, Cameroon. We'll talk much about that later on the show. This one, Spain taking on the Orange Boys, the world champions, against arguably the next best thing in the world.
Absolutely.
After Spain, and a repeat of the 2010 final.
Yeah.
Spain takes on Holland, and of course, Chile will take on Australia. So those are the matches. Before we go to tomorrow's matches, don't talk about the Cameroon because we'll talk more about that one later on. But Spain, Holland, quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very epic spectacle. That's when Spain will take on Holland later today. Any game that involves both good teams is always witness of fireworks. Remember, even in 2010, the final, it took an extra brilliance from it was Andre Iniesta who actually scored that goal after extra time, which gave Spain the much-needed win and to give them that very trophy. And, having said all this, in the last 10 meetings by both teams, Spain have actually recorded 5, while Holland recorded 4, and the one actually ended in a draw. So it promises to be fireworks. Both teams can actually boast of top players in their rank. I think looking at the form of both the Dutch and the Spanish team, I think you want to say that the Spanish team really have a slight edge over the Dutch team, but I think it can actually go either way.
Chile, Australia, quickly.
Chile, Australia, another game to actually, it's going to be very interesting. But if you look at that group, almost all the 4 teams in that group really have a chance to actually progress into the next one. Both teams actually in form. Chile in the form of their life. Australia also not doing badly. So I think also that game can go either side.
Okay. We just have to wait and see. But the wait has ended, really. Just a few hours, and you start enjoying the games. There's a lot to enjoy today. 3 matches to be played. Let's look at tomorrow's matches. Matches to be played tomorrow. Other teams will be in action tomorrow. And I know you really want to talk about Cameroon, but let's talk about tomorrow's matches. Colombia will take on Greece. Uruguay will take on Costa Rica. England will take on Italy. Pick of the pack for me would be England, Italy. I hope the field, the Manuel's pitch is all right. I hope so. Then Africa's other representative, Cote d'Ivoire, will take on the Samurai Blue of Japan. And Okay, let's start from the top. Colombia, Greece, 30 seconds. Where's it going?
Yeah, I think that game can actually go either side. You know, the Greek team have actually come of age. They have improved tremendously since when they made their debut at the 1994 World Cup, and against a Colombian team who will be missing Ramadel Falcao. I think it's going to be tough, but this game can also go either.
Uruguay, Costa Rica, with or without Luis Suarez?
Yeah, I think Uruguay should navigate their way. They should get the 3 maximum points in this fixture.
England, Italy?
Wow, very difficult to predict. Both teams will be on each other's neck, and with the caliber players and both countries actually parade, this game can also go either side. But some people will say the Italians, the Azuris.
I agree with you. A lot of people will tell you that the Azuris have an edge, but I feel this game might likely end in a draw.
Yeah,
both teams will gladly take a draw than lose, and both teams have the tendency to defend.
Absolutely. So
we saw what England did at Euro 2012, Italians as well. Both teams know how to defend.
How to defend very, very well.
So it might just end in a draw. Côte d'Ivoire, Japan.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for African brothers, the elephants of Côte d'Ivoire. They should be able to actually represent Africa well, because after we see the first game to be played today by the Cameroonians, we expect the elephants of Côte d'Ivoire with the areas of stars
the Indomitable Lions to set the tone.
Yeah, to set the tone today.
The Ivorians to follow
then the Super Eagles. And against the Japanese team, it's going to be very tough. The Japanese team can also, they are a team who are very undaunted. They are very difficult to beat. Remember their performance at the Confederations Cup, where it took extra brilliance from most of the countries to actually get past there. Remember the case of even when they took on Italy. So it's going to be very tough for the Ivorians, but I still feel that with the caliber of players they have, if they are able to gel together, if Sabre Lamucci is able to tell those guys that, look, this is a game up for take. We are not playing against Argentina like you met that most of the big teams I've always been meeting in the past. You can always get a job done against Côte d'Ivoire.
Okay. All right. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about Cameroon. Hopefully during the break, you'll be able to see one of the previous matches played by the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon at the FIFA 2014 World Cup. Join us again.